Hi, everyone. Welcome to Tea with the Muse and the Peach and the Honey podcast. I'm Ayel. I'm so happy. So, if you're new to the Peach and the Honey, welcome. This is normally a French podcast. And for the first time, it's the first episode in English. Yay! And I'm so thrilled to welcome my dear friend and mentor, Shiloh Sophia from the States. And this podcast is also going to be on her podcast, the Tea with the Muse podcast. Shiloh, how are you doing?
Oh, I'm just so excited to be here. It just feels like this. I feel like we're in a little cafe and, the peach and the honey and the tea with the muse are coming together and we're just enjoying each other and bringing communities across the world together. I love it. I'm so excited.
Me too. Oh my God. So, can we go back to how we met a little bit? Are you okay with that? Because I
Yeah.
feel like there's a whole legendary story to it.
Start us
Um,
off.
yeah, so I actually met you first. I saw you first in 2010, and it was with the Cosmic Cowgirls.
Uh-huh.
And I met you through a friend of mine who was reading a magazine where your paintings were printed.
Oh my
And it
God.
was a French magazine. And she said, "Oh, look at those paintings. It's amazing. It talks about the feminine, the divine feminine. And this painter, she's amazing. And she has something online, which at the time, 2010, was not so common. At this time,
Right.
you were already a pioneer, a visionary. And this is also why I think I fell in love with you like almost instantly. It's because you are this visionary pioneer and you've been on this road for so many years. Can you talk a little bit about all of that, this how do you say this genesis of your work?
Yeah, thank you so much. I feel like when I was 23 years old and I was going to corporate education and I had a corporate job and I was just going down a path, a particular lifestyle, and it just broke. Like I just broke open and it was in relationship with the divine feminine, just seeing her missing everywhere in the world and just so astonished at the sudden noticing of her absence. It was just kind of like, what? And it was before like internet really got going and before you could Google anything, right? And so the like a holy rage came through my body that just felt like a fire. I almost felt like I could spontaneously combust. That's how it was. And I just was like, what do I do now? And almost within 24 to 48 hours, my life, I left my high heels for my hiking boots and moved to the mountain, peed outside, lived in a small trailer, ran naked in the woods. Like I just left it all behind. And a year later, I had my first art show and made thousands of dollars. And I was like, all right, I ain't going back. So that's kind of how it got started. Plus, I had two moms, one a painter, one a poet, who you got to meet. And they just encouraged me, like, leave all that behind. Come here, we're going to train you. So I also went into a mentorship with two moms who had highly developed their own craft, and they passed it to me, and I pass it on to those who feel called to the work with us.
Yeah, and that's amazing because you created in like all this time a whole community because you are kind of this matriarch a little bit for artists, women artists, and visionaries in the world. And I feel you have a body of work that is so deep on the feminine and not just like what I love with your work is that it's always evolving. You're always going deeper and deeper, and you take women from the feminine perspective, but also into a more quantum, and astrophysics, and a
Yeah.
lots of things, metaphysics. Do you want to talk a little bit about that? How it came to you, how it's all weaved together?
Some of the children of my students who actually grew up with me, imagine that if someone started watching me in 2010, their kid would be 15 now, right? So I have a lot of kids who grew up with me, and so they call me the art teacher at Hogwarts. We also,
I love that. Of
right?
course.
Of course. And we also say, like, I'm kind of as far as you can go without plant medicine to get out into that other dimension where you are in your, pure essence, which sounds so spiritual. It's more embodied than it's more
Mhm.
physical than just transcendent. I feel like, everyone's talking ascension. I'm like, no, we're just working on descending into this amazing
Exactly.
sack of stars right now. And if you could do that, then it opens, right? So for me, both of my moms were, no one had even a high school education, let alone anything else, right? Any other kind of education, but they were high intellects. And so we talked a lot about science, and we talked a lot about how things worked. And we watched Stephen Hawking's, and we read textbooks, and one of my mom's illustrated biological textbooks. We dissected things. We, cared for animals. We milked goats. We, had meals that were all from the land. So there was just all of this education that was very physical and also very quantum. So I feel we call it feet on the ground, head in the stars, hand in the medium. So, like, this is a clay vessel made by one of my mom's
Yeah.
too. And so it's like, imagine you're hooking up to your highest soul source, however you think of that in your spiritual tradition. Like, they all kind of agree there is something called that. And the dominant ones want to broker that access. And we're kind of like about dismantling that brokership. So your head is in your direct connection, which no one can actually prevent. They can interfere, but no one can actually keep you from it because it is you. It's animating your life force. And then you're throwing a pot, and your hands are in the medium. So you're entering into a flow state. And then your feet are literally on the good ground. And so that is how we become a medium, not a medium or a channel for someone or something that's not in form, but for your own connection, right? To make your own connection conscious, because that connection is there all the time. No one can change it ever, ever. Like, that's it. It's happening. The only question, this is the ultimate question, is how much? How much access do you have? How much are you willing to let in? How do you remove this interference and the subjugation and this colonization out of all the layers of being that you are? Strip it all down, and then just be like in pure access, because then you receive clear messages, clear instructions, clear voice. So that has to be earth and star. It has to be both. I hope that
Exactly.
makes sense. I wish
Of
I could say
course,
it in
it's
French.
how don't worry, I'm saying it in French like all the time. And I feel like this has been, it's been such a treasure to have met you. I was not just at the beginning of my journey, but you and the community came at the moment where I kind of experienced everything. It's so funny to look at it with the
Right?
years behind. Like, I experienced everything. I couldn't comprehend it at all, but I
Yeah.
was doing it. And
Yeah.
now, like years later, because I trained with you in 2015, so 10 years ago, but years later, it's like I've soaked in a liquid, and now the liquid is in me. And everything you're saying is everything that I've been teaching without even realizing it.
Right.
Like, and I'm like, oh, wow. And
Yeah.
this thing, like, there's no intermediary between you and however you call it, source, God, universe, whatever. And you're the instrument of life, and life is flowing through you, and everything that is making you and everything that happens is an opportunity to create. And that's
Yeah.
also why we are artists, and how we can really get back also to this empowerment. This is exactly what you're saying, like, how can I let it in? How can I open up to really be this beacon of creation, this artist of life? And I have exactly the same vocabulary. I often say, like, it's not about ascension, it's about descension. It's about getting back into the bones, into the body, because if we were meant to be pure spirit, we would not have a body. And I feel like it's also time for us as women, but also for us as humans to reclaim all that is making our bodies, like our bones, our muscles, but also all the physiology. And when you think about it, it's such a miracle. Like
It
when
is.
you the body, the way it functions, the cells, the microcosms of the macrocosm, it's like amazing. So I feel like also it's a good moment to introduce your program. Your It's not a program, I would say, like this experience that you are offering, because it's really for me this name Stardust Bones. For me, it's this experience of getting the cosmos back into the body. And like, of course, I remember that I
Love.
am the whole cosmos and that I can experience it in my body. So do you want to talk to us a little bit about it?
Yes. So for those of you who feel called, we have an event coming up that is, it's called Stardust Bones. It's an experience, and we're going to work through 9 promises to ourselves in order to recalibrate our relationship to soul and also remove any of the things that are keeping us from that access because we don't recognize what's in place. And even someone like me who practices the removal of colonization structures in my psyche all the time as they come in, because I'm an entrepreneur and I have to interact out there in that world. I'm removing. I still find layers, and it's astonishing to me. But when people come in, usually they've found 1 or 2 layers, but they haven't found the other layers because they didn't know they existed. And if they do, they don't know how to get rid of them. They just know they're pissed and restless and need a
Yeah.
freaking change, right? But they don't know what to do about it. So, in a way, this is a rites of passage. Here is what to do about creating a self initiation to bring you like a new beginning. I'm going for new beginning for our psyche, for our soul, for our body. And I'm bringing everything I got to this, which is why I brought you in, because I knew that you could bring in the embodiment piece. Imagine I've been, doing my work for 30 years and I'm done teaching the way I was teaching. I did certifications. I had hundreds of thousands of people come to my classes. I've trained hundreds and hundreds of people to do my work in different modalities. And I'm doing something else now. I don't know what I'm going to be doing, but it's not that. And so Stardust Bones is the culmination, sort of a magnum opus of this past 30 years. And I also have had some health challenges, like many, that I'm continually working with and overcoming that have changed my life. And those health challenges say to me, everything is temporary. This could be it, baby. Like, are you good? I'm like, I'm good. Like, I'm good. I would love to stay here till I'm 115, and I'm good to return to Stardust again too. I feel complete with what I've done, and that feeling of completion, I ask myself, is there any way I can condense in a smaller framework, 30 years of wisdom, and what would it be? And then this just dropped in, and I just wrote the entire curriculum. And it's, I feel like what I'm sharing is closer to a universal truth than a methodology or a belief system, because you should be able to be any tradition. You should be able to be conservative, Catholic, or a pagan. You could be a Gnostic. You could be a don't believe in anything. This should be able to work for anyone as long as you're open to receiving and believe the earth is sacred and that you're sacred, as long as you're not being blocked from connecting to your soul. It should work for anyone. So I'm going for universal truths, which my spiritual friends say is impossible. I'm like, I don't think so. I actually think we know how to get there. But in order to get there, you have to work with science and somatics and self expression. You cannot get there without those. But then also, the interesting flip side is that when we have trauma, science, somatic, and self expression all happened in real time. Our body was impacted. There was a physiological, biological response that stores in the body. And then we expressed something, sound, emotion, trauma, like there's something that happened. So when you bring those 3 magical, sacred tools together, it's almost like you can address trauma at a level that we haven't been able to do it because the trauma happened all at once. Boom, it's now here. It could happen in 5 minutes
Yeah.
and you have it your whole life. something about the way that we're dancing, we're painting, we're speaking, we're opening to transmissions from soul. It's so on, it's so alive, it's so real time, it's so fucking intense. There's like, wow, you can actually move something that's stuck. And that's what I'm interested in. I want to move stuck stuff so that we can get free, right? I just want
Of course.
to.
Yeah, exactly. And also what I love with that is the moment you set yourself free and it comes from your own action, there's a level of empowerment that you will never find even through therapy, even if I really like therapy and stuff. But like there is something so empowering when you do it for yourself, when
Right.
you really experience it, when it's
Yeah.
yours to claim. It's not like, of course, I'm guided, you're guiding, you will be a guide, I will be a guide, but we are not deciding for people. You are deciding for yourself how ready you are to be free. And this is amazing because also I feel in our times today in the world we're living in, it's the main question. How willing, how willing are you to be free? Like, how
Yeah.
much do you want it? How much do you want to be alive, to feel alive, to create the life that you want? It's not just about books. It's not about thinking about it. It's about, do you really want to bring something to your life and to the world? Because as you say, and I have another friend and she speaks about it a lot, another mentor, and she says like, I know I can die tomorrow.
Yeah.
And if I die, will I be proud of doing anything that I could to really enjoy this life, to really press this life out? Like, yeah, it's the miracle. Will I have I lived the miracle or not? And I
Yeah.
feel it's so important.
Yeah. I do too. And people, I feel like everybody wants it. People just don't know how to get there. And so this,
Exactly.
in a way, we're providing an ecosystem pathway that tens of thousands of people have already traveled. And yet what happens in that ecosystem is completely up to each individual person. So everyone will be in their own home studio, although we are doing an in-person version in Paris and California. But the virtual
Yeah.
version, yeah, we are. That virtual version, you're solo in your studio, in your space, having your experience, but you're doing it with all of us. So it's that sovereignty and collective piece where there are certain pieces that you can do alone. And then there are pieces that are better in a collective because there's a, to get quantum for a moment, there's a field condition. And the
Mm.
field condition is the interconnectivity of all of us around the world, hundreds of women coming together to be in this quantum space. And when you practice, you can feel the other people. We also visit a quantum environment that we gather in together. And so that people can go there anytime and feel the thread of connection. Because doing self initiation work, if you're really in it, we ain't playing. When I did this for myself, I feel like everything turned upside down. Like that experience I had of leaving San Francisco. I've only had like maybe 4 other things in all this 30 years that are like that. You don't do it all the time. It can be addictive, but this one is one that you choose, right? This one is one like you're choosing this for yourself. Usually we do initiations when there's been a drama or a trauma and we need to reclaim something lost. This we are going to reclaim lost things, but the originating point isn't trauma or drama. It's actually coming through active choice because you do need to have a relative level of, space and time and well-being because we're going to blow our minds. I'm not in this for anything like on the surface. Like I'm going all in. I really am. Like
Yeah.
I can't even wait.
Yeah. We're going all in. And I love that you're saying, like, I think also we are at a turning point in our
Yeah.
collective around desire. Like we've been trained to look at what's not going good and how to try to feel better, but now I think it's time for us to claim that there's nothing wrong with us and we can have desires. And it's also the desire to be fully alive, the desire to create amazing things that we don't even know yet what it's going to be, but it's going to be amazing. And I really like that you bring the quantum field to it, because for so many years, so after I met you, when I met you and I did a certification on your side, um, I wanted to create movement, online movement. And I had like a lot of resistancy, like lots of, but it was not the same times. It was still
Right.
the 2015. And then when COVID happens, I'm like, it was like, I had this message like, okay, this is what I'm here for, actually.
Yes.
And we danced like there were 2,000 people in the different part of the world, and we were dancing together and we would support each other. And the quantum field is real. It's not
Yes.
just like, it's
Yeah.
like, at the moment you're stepping into it and you reclaim it and you start to feel it, you start to see it, and you're going to evolve with people. And I still have so many friends from intentional creativity, from many communities that I only met online, and some of them
Right.
I meet, I've never met, but the heart is connected and the evolution is real. So I think also what is a good thing, of course, I love in presence events, but what is a good thing also with being on your own at some point to paint and to dance, it's also because you can work with yourself. I
Yeah.
really feel it's also like complementary, because it's also very good for you to know that you can really trust yourself, that you can really trust your your painting, your dancing, your movement, and that even though you think you're alone, you're never alone. And
Right.
also this connection to the divine, whatever how you call it, is going to be even stronger when you allow yourself to feel it for you, and not just because you are doing a training or an
Yeah.
initiation or something. I think this is also a big key to empowerment for me.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because when we do these trainings, when the guides are just trying to replace your material that you had with theirs, that's when those of us who are rebels and who are into sovereignty and self leadership are like, we don't want to do that. Because you can feel when someone's trying to insert their agenda and replace your old agenda. And it ultimately, it may work for a while because it gets you through something. But um, like if I could lead this class without talking and just transmit it quantumly, that would be best. I happen to be willing to receive the information. I don't think it's mine. Did I earn it and work for it? Yeah, I worked for it. I worked for it for 30 years, but it actually isn't mine. It actually is universal. Like we're working with particle and wave and consciousness and self-expression. It is not personal to me. It is collective, universal, embodied, logical. Like it's what we're doing is so fantastical, but so logical because you will take actions in your daily life as a result of what ends up happening in this quantum space. And so, my content, which is basically the ecosystem structure, is only designed to bring someone to the edge of their own awareness. It is not to replace anything that that person is carrying. Whatever they are ready to let go of is just going to shake out. It's just going to shake out, but it's not going to be replaced with my worldview. Basically, my worldview is if we're intentionally creative, we're going to have a better life and just try it. It's like, it's not a new belief system, it's more of a lifestyle
Yeah.
choice.
Yeah, totally. And I feel like we are so in this age of getting rid of the guru energy, but it starts also with people not giving their power to their teachers, and like learning to reclaim their own power for themselves. And
Yes.
for me, it's also very connected to your work, because I feel like in the shamanic practice that is my also my container, we're thinking about life as a spiral, and we are at the era of the spiral. It's not a pyramid anymore.
Right.
It's more like a circular shape that's coming up and down. And at any time you are at a point in the spiral, and there's no one that is better than another. Everyone has its own leadership to find, and its own culture, its own talents, everything. So I think also Stardust Bones, I feel, is um becoming the leader of your own life, your own leader, your own master. And this is also the first meaning of mastery, becoming a master of your own art and heart.
I love
So
it.
yeah.
You're making me think of that, the spiral, because the spiral, when it's doing that, is vortice, right? The shape, seeing water go down a drain, like that's one of the most powerful forces in the world, is the shape of water. And so if you imagine that we're in this vertical motion, right? It's not a circle, it's not a closed loop, and it's not like a spiral that doesn't go anywhere, right? It's in motion,
Yeah.
right? But you send up and down. But if you do, in the quantum, collapse it like this, you can go across the timeline. And so the idea that you have to work everything out in this long labyrinth style, well, that's not how we do it here. There's value there, and we've tried that. What we're actually doing is we're jumping across. Like if you imagine you're in the center of a labyrinth, you're actually jumping across. But if you're not capable of jumping across, it won't happen. So don't worry, right? But if you're like, hey, I see what's over there, I'm just going to jump over there. And I think that people are way more ready to leap on their timeline than they recognize, because they've done so many workshops, because they've done so much therapy, because they've expressed themselves on social media, because they've reinvented over and over, because they've taken every class they could take to become, all those things we've done to shape our identity. When you're ready to leap across and you actually understand enough of how particle and wave work, because we're going to be teaching you wave energy medicine, which is how to work with basically the sacred equation of creation that exists on Earth. E equals mc squared equals E equals mc squared equals E. It's a continuation. When we teach you how to work with that, you're just like, oh, I can just get over to this new place. I could just drop this story now. It's not serving me anymore. And it could actually go away. And I'm not saying, you could skip the long journey of healing, but maybe you're ready for something and you need a catalytic container for that leaping. And to me, there's been many times where I saw it could have been a really longer journey, or we could actually just leap over. There's an ancient rock wall image, and it shows, like, imagine like a branch with two sticks, and one is really long and one is really short. The long one is the one you try to do yourself. You're going to get there. You're going to get to the same place. The short one is the one when you have teachers who are actually guiding you in your process. They're not replacing your process with theirs. They're actually opening you to the edge of your own precipice. And every single person in my life who's walked me to that edge is one of my teachers. And their wisdom continues to reverberate in me as I'm creating. I'm like, oh yeah, it's like that mentorship goes on. So while we won't be like mentors where we're coaching you individually, there's a collective field where Ayala and I are both entering our sacred technology to this point, into this container, so that you can catalyze your own container.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. I so resonate with that, because I feel like the loop of healing can be endless, and that's not the point here. And also to be aware that sometimes it's just we are so used to our suffering that the ego, and it's also a system of protection. So the ego wants you to keep telling yourself that you need more healing, that you need more healing. But actually, if you really trust the quantum and life, so this channel that is with no interference between you and life, God, universe, the healing will occur while you choosing something different. And
Yes.
also I feel like this is also that, like, jumping quantum lines for me, it's really okay, I'm jumping there, I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm sure that life is going to support me. So that's also, I think this experience is also going to allow you to build the trust, because this is the first thing that you need to have, is the trust. Do you trust yourself? Do you trust life? And do you trust that you don't need nothing more than whatever you've been doing to realize like amazing things and to live something different.
I love that. Well, I'll just say, like, arriving in Paris for just 48 hours and then crashing the party and an ecstatic dance where you didn't know I was coming and coming to dance with you and then going, oh my gosh, she's supposed to be the teacher for the ecstatic dance, the movement part of the process that we're offering in Stardust Bones. I was like, oh, this is perfect. So anyway, I'm so
Yeah.
glad that this arose. And just for anyone who's new to the idea of Stardust Bones, it is what you actually have. You have bones made of stardust because the matter, what seems like matter in your physical body, is the iron of ancient exploding stars. Is why your blood is red, right? So everything that composes your body is from the cosmos. Not everything in the cosmos is in your body, but everything in your body is literally from the cosmos, including Earth itself and water. It just is this, our teacher Sue used to say, you're a cooling sack of stars. How did you decide to colonize this matter, this form? And imagine that the sun and the moon's direct relationship with Earth, if they were just a little bit farther, a little bit closer, we would fly apart. And so the exact right conditions have come together in order to make your life possible. However much of the shit show we're still navigating, you are still here at this time. And it is a miracle that we're not flying apart. But that
Perfect.
energy, that ancient life force is in you. So it's a remembering of that ancient power that is life force coursing through your veins right now, and tapping into that awareness that you are not, your every moment is new, but you are ancient. And so our work allows for the self-expression and the embodiment and the consciousness to become aware of itself. It's like becoming conscious of becoming conscious and becoming embodied about being in a body, like just arriving in the now, right? It's a popular idea, but it's hard to get there. If you try to do it mentally, you have to do it in the body, in the temple.
Yeah, you have to feel it. And it's actually amazing because when I came to see you in Sonoma, it was Edsberger, but in
Yeah.
California, um, I had like written down all the things that I wanted to create. And then 1 year later, cacao, so the cacao medicine came into my life, and I downloaded the stellar medicine dance, which is exactly what you just described. We are all made of stardust, and we're here to remember and reactivate through our movement, through the dance, through the body, that we are from the cosmos. And the the main phrase from this practice was like, I dance in the cosmos and the cosmos dances in me. And that's it. That's what I'm gonna offer
Yeah.
actually in this process, like to how to reactivate the cosmos inside your body and how to open up to feel that, and to allow life to lead you,
Mm.
because we are a lot driven by our minds, and we love our minds also. Like, minds can be powerful, it's powerful, but we want our mind to be in service for the unknown, because the unknown is what's going to create a world we don't know yet about. So yeah.
Oh, being in the mystery with you is going to be so great. I just want to thank everyone so much for tuning in and listening, and we're so excited that so many of you are going to be joining us for this real-time journey, real time in your timeline. And those of you who are not, I'm so grateful for you too, just being in this space. And I just want to leave you with this image. If you imagine your body, like see the outline of your body and see it just filled with the cosmos, which is kind of like, for those of you who would be watching on video, you can see my painting. And those of you listening, you can take a look at it by going to stardustbones.org. Um, if you imagine your body as a vessel of the stardust, and then imagine that doing work with women like us who have been developing our process is lighting up the dim stars, They're just, so imagine little sparks of light just coming to life, like a dormancy, like a sleeping, like a latency, like a, even some late bloomer feeling. And then imagine that as we move and as we paint and as we witness ourselves, as we become conscious of becoming conscious, as the cosmos moves through us, as the universe is universing in our life force, that those little sparks are coming out of sleeping, coming out of hiding, and lighting up around your body. And this may seem like a spiritual idea, but it's actually the activation of life force and cellular renewal. So maybe you can just imagine it even right now. You don't need to wait because it's here right now. No one needs to give it to you. Sometimes just becoming aware of it. Are there a couple little stars right now that could start shimmering? Thank you. It's
Thank
making
you
me
so
think of
much.
the Rilke poem. And there's an idea in one of the poems that it's like, as Rilke's star awaits upon us to glimmer, it's like it's waiting for us to pay attention to it. And it's always glimmering, and it's always glimmering for us. But when you turn toward the glimmering, then something different happens because there's a recognition and a sacred relationship is acknowledged. The relationship between heart and brain and gut and vulva, it's happening every minute, right? The relationship between earth and star, it's all happening all the time. The only difference is, are you willing to make yourself available? In that same poem, it talks about you were walking beneath an open window when a violin yielded itself to someone. Did you rise to the call? We need to rise to the call of the happening. And so gather with others who are also rising to their call of the great happening, because all the chaos is going to keep moving, and it's probably going to keep moving in a direction that doesn't feel right to most of our bodies. And so it's not just a reclamation, it's actually a threshold into a new space that always exists, and we just need to enter it together, enter the quantum together while rooted on earth.
Exactly. I love it. I'm ready. I'm ready. We're ready. And yeah, I'm so excited. So you can sign up right away. There will be the link in the show notes of the episode. And if you have any question, you can reach out. Where is the best space to reach out to you, Shiloh? Is it
Yeah.
Instagram or do you prefer email? What is?
Yeah, so you can find everything at stardustbones.org, and there's savings available and payment plans. So we'll work with you if you know you're called to come. There's no selling needed, because those who feel called to come just know who they are. Just come on over. And if you have specific questions or you need a different payment plan or something else is arising for you, you can email support at musea.org. That's support at musea.org. Yeah.
Amazing. Wonderful. Thank you so much. I can't wait to start. Ta-da! Ta-da! Thank you, and have a wonderful day, wonderful night, everybody. And I will stop now the recording, and then we'll see each other again on another episode or in Stardust Bones.